Now, what determines whether new businesses enter an industry or whether existing businesses exit? What are the barriers to entry? Is there a moat? Lots of entrepreneurs get asked this. A new business looking for funding has to have answers for both why hasn't somebody else already hit this market, and also what other businesses are going to follow if you're successful. A profitable business would enter some product market segment easily, but then put up a moat to prevent others from competing. A moat can provide monopoly rents to the owner. So there are some polar cases about what happens if a business would like to raise prices. One is a commodity. A farmer selling a commodity knows the market price. That's it. It's tough. They're not selling anything special. It's a commodity. Price is all that matters. And the price is set by the whole market, so there's little or nothing that an individual business can do to change it. Most coffee, wine, olives are sold that way. They're global markets. Every farmer in the world competes against every other one around the globe. Most bulk markets, they work that way. A business needs to hit some minimum standards. They don't have any ability to negotiate a better price. An individual coffee grower knows the buyers could go to the next village or the next state or the next different country. I mean, farmers want to differentiate their product to make a pitch for why their product is worth paying a bit more. But that's not easy. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Commodity prices change. They go up, they go down, often by really large amounts. Many agricultural products have an annual cycle. Could take many months to grow the product. So the current supply reflects what farmers anticipated back when they planted, no matter what happens since then. If prices are high, then the farmers can sell their product for more money, which is good for them. They make more profit than they expected. On the other hand, if prices are low, then farmers got to sell for less money. That's bad. They make less profit. Sometimes they lose money. Which might bring the question, well, why would they sell at all? But the answer is because not selling at all would lose even more money. In so much of the world, for all of us, sometimes the best we can do just isn't very good at all. Farmers selling at a loss are still maximizing profit, even if it's more precise to say they're minimizing their loss. They decide that any revenue is better than zero revenue. So if commodity prices are high, and if they're expected to stay high, then we just said farmers would be making money. But then other firms or other farmers would notice, and they'll try to enter the market. That might not happen quickly. Maybe it takes some time for the crop to grow, but eventually there will be more produced, which will shift the supply curve outward. In the graph, that's a shift from the solid line to the dashed line, which leads to a fall in the price. Oppositely, if prices are low, then farmers will be losing money and some will just give up. They'll exit the market. Maybe they're forced out if they can't pay back loans, or just go try something else. That will shift the supply curve inwards, which will lead to a rise in the price. Now, of course, for now, I'm keeping the analysis simple, leaving demand unchanged. In the real world, that doesn't happen. People make different choices, and you get cycles of boom and bust, common in commodity markets. If a business does not sell a commodity, but instead their product has some special quality, they have some amount of product differentiation, people are willing to pay a bit more. That helps. Some, still not entirely. Mostly because that certain specialness is not probably all that entirely special. Think restaurant opens in a new neighborhood. The first restaurant does a good business, and that leads others to open. Their menus aren't identical. They could be quite different, but there's maybe that one dish that's just so good at that one place. But still, each restaurant has some product differentiation, but they're ultimately competing for local people to eat there. Amsterdam Avenue, for instance, right by campus, has a Chinese place, an Indian place, pizza place. Those are different foods. But a student or staff going to grab lunch, just going to eat one of those. If one of those shops closed down, the other would make more money. There have some differentiation, but not necessarily a total monopoly differentiation. For a business to make a consistently high profit, they need a moat. That's the water around the castle. Back in medieval times, it was created to defend the castle. It's lovely blue in that picture, but back in the day, it was important for places that didn't have plumbing, so it wasn't exactly blue, if you know what I mean. One basic rule we mentioned was when firms are making money, others will enter. So the only way for firms to keep making good profit is to stop other firms from entering. France, back in 1855, put together a list of the finest vineyards, the Grand Cru class. Ever since then, that's been quite a moat. In 1855, the City College of New York was only 8 years old. It's been a while. Now, about 50 years ago, one of the Rothschild family got his vineyard bumped up in the classification. But there's pretty much no other changes. Now, the Premier Grand Cru, the first ranked, can sell for thousands of dollars for a bottle. The appellation d'origine contrôle has created similar moats for other agricultural products. Champagne can only be called that if it's from the Champagne region of France. Otherwise, it's just sparkling wine. Other countries have similar rules. Now, they're written from the perspective of protecting consumers, but obviously the motives might be a little bit mixed. Helping large landowners make bigger profits has a certain political appeal. Now, fancy people might quarrel about whether the Premier Grand Cru are actually all that, but there's a certain amount of bragging going on, just the statement that somebody's tasted a bunch of those. I can reassure you, as a public employee, my salary does not allow me to have ever had such pleasure. But anyway, those limitations are good for producers, but not necessarily obviously good for consumers. And note finally that the climate has certainly changed a bit since 1855. Whatever climate characteristics were being protected back then to make the wine so special, they're not there now.